Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. Shots are fired. What is going on, Dodgers Nation? My name is Clint. You can find us, or find me, at RealFRG on Twitter and Instagram.
You only really fire off shots when you're mad.
Yeah.
Are you angry?
I think it's going to be one of those shows.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. I mean,
like,
it was a long weekend. The world's on fire. Gender reveal parties are out of control. All that thing.
Yeah, I'm like half invested in this. I'm not going to lie.
I don't even know who I am anymore. Guys, my name is Brooke. You can find me at BrookeMe3 on Twitter and Instagram. On today's show, we're talking a couple of things. We're talking, we got in trouble. We got a little trouble.
Well, no,
depends on who you ask. You know,
Yeah.
Padres fans aren't real people. So, I mean, does it really count? Not really sure. Maybe pissed off a little more than just Padres fans, but we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the playoff rotation is coming more into focus, and you got to figure it out a little quicker this year because, in case you guys didn't know, this season is only 60 games, and that means it's over in 5 minutes from now.
It's
Season's over in 5 minutes.
We got a 5. Well, we got somebody who's 30 minutes away from their fantasy draft too. So
we got to speed this along, guys. We got to move.
Yeah, the bullpen is stumbling. I think that's the biggest question mark right now. Besides your boy Gavin Lux, maybe, I don't know, but we'll get to that when we get there. There are playoff scenarios again with the postseason being 5 minutes away. We got to figure out who are we going to play in the first round, and there are a lot of options and tasty choices from there. Before we get into the show, again, we got to remind you this is a podcast. If you're watching this, why not go leave a nice review for us on iTunes? That would be lovely.
That would be good because Padres Twitter tore it apart, and
actually, surprisingly, they didn't.
They didn't.
We appreciate that.
For it.
You know, we could respect.
Thank you. Even though you hate us, you respect us as businessmen, and I appreciate that.
I mean, it's all fun and trolling and whatnot. You know, we're not trying to go up there and tear them apart and whatever. We're just trolling and making fun of their things, and you know, we'll see who actually wins some ball games. That's what it's all about.
Just want to watch some baseball.
Just want to talk baseball. Personal announcement from Roach today. He found out that the Mariners have a Twitter, like Mariners Twitter accounts exist, like fans are online.
That's cool. I actually I like the Mariners.
Never heard. 18 years since their last playoff berth.
No.
Oof.
No, really?
Oof. 18 American years.
That was when Ken Griffey Jr. was alive.
The very same.
Have you seen him since? He's not been in the public eye very often as of late, but the MLB still really loves to use him for things.
We got former co-host of the show, Kevin Allen, here in the stream saying, coming at you live from Diamond Hogger's basement. I don't know, man. I don't know about all that, but, you know, when in Rome, I'm going to leave
if you need help.
Yeah, comment an air horn if you need help. We'll happily help you out there, Chief. We got people talking about the bullpen. Some of the people. Swag Daddy McGee says I should probably give you guys a 5-star review. Huh? Yes, please. That would be great.
You've been around. Where you been?
Juice points out the new placement of the Jim Beam sign that I don't know if we should actually have turned it on. It's not on right now, but I think it blows out your face. So.
I'm already really white, so I don't need like more.
It's
coming this way.
It's a whole thing. All right, let's get into the show here a bit. Usually during the season, the way we've been doing this is, we kind of get into what's happened in the last week, and we are, but it's going to be more personalized because we were troublemakers last week. We can review. Do you want me to give my side of this, or do you want to lead it off and just force me into a side?
You want to just run into it and see what we did? Well, here's the thing. If you guys were with, let's say you're with us last week. All right, you were listening to the show. We had a little bit of a segment. You got to remember, this is following the trade deadline when the Padres were like, "Hey, we're going to get a whole new team." Mm-hmm. Pretty much, 6 new guys, whatever it was, whole new roster. We decided we were going to trash talk the Padres a little bit. Some old-fashioned fun because all the Dodgers did was ship off friend of the show, Ross Stripling, to Toronto. We got a little bored. There was nothing to do. As Dodger fans, you guys were like, there's nothing to do. Trade deadline, we're already really good. What does it matter? So we went at the Padres a little bit. Most of it was lighthearted fun. We thought we were having a good time with it. We did have a good time with it, by the way.
Well, we had a great time. I mean, to be fair, you started it.
I did. I did start it as I have done for the past 2 years now.
And I hit a crossroads in that particular section of the show because obviously we don't come over here and be like, hey, we're gonna write out each word we're gonna say and make one of those bad podcasts that a lot of these other Dodger podcasts are. Yeah, not completely scripted. We know what we're gonna talk about, but the rest of it is just sometimes word diarrhea, and that makes it fun. So this guy started going off on the Padres and their moves, and I was like, okay, I can go one of two ways. I can be like the Skip Bayless to your Stephen A.
I'm Stephen A.
Kevin, this would be a great time for you to drop a Stephen A. for me, man. I appreciate it. A very dear friend right here, Mr. Skip Bayless.
I really wanted to be Stephen A. Thank you for that.
I'm going to tell you another thing.
So it got, basically it went off the rails a little bit. I said a few things about Mike Clevenger just to calm everybody down, to feel okay about the Dodgers and where they were headed. It was all in good fun. Padres fans picked that up and ran it. Like, they picked up a ball from a 1 yard line, fumble, scoop, go the other direction, took it all the way to the end zone, ran out of the parking lot, that kind of thing. Yeah. They found it. I didn't know that the Padres had fans, but they found it. And boy,
it was fun.
I got dragged.
It was fun.
They called me fat.
Somebody wanted to pee on us.
Somebody wanted to pee on me.
It was exhilarating watching this unfold on Twitter, and at all the respect, it's gonna be fun. Next week that series is gonna be fun.
And family members text me and be like, "Are you okay? Are you in trouble? Is somebody gonna hurt you physically?" And I don't think Padres fans are gonna do that.
They are notorious, for being trolls themselves. So again,
they're good at it too. They are great at it. Every single one of them has Fernando Tatis as their profile picture. So I can't really make fun of you if you only have a good-looking Fernando Tatis as your profile picture. What can I do?
Yeah, nothing. We don't know if it's trolling or if they're dumb or whatever it is. When in Rome, it goes one way or the other. But Padres fans are easy to rile up, but we can say the same thing about Dodger fans. Dodger fans will go sick people from all around, and it makes it fun. And I think the next series, the Dodgers play San Diego one more time for 3 games next week at San Diego, if I'm not mistaken. So that should be a fun series. The last time the Dodgers were there, I went on a Padres podcast about that, and I was like, you know what? Hey, they really brought it. The Padres players wanted it. They did their best to make it as close to a playoff environment, and that made it fun, So this is going to be a fun series, and if they find a way to meet up in the postseason, there's going to be a lot of bragging rights. There's going to be a lot of crap-talking rights on it, but Katie notes they are definitely dumb, so give Katie some points right there. Yeah, we had some idiotic former writers of us that, most of their stuff, like, I salvaged as the editor of the site. I salvaged and rebuilt it, so they think they're good writers now, but they're talking crap, thinking that our takes were serious on it. So it's pretty funny watching some really, really bad out-of-work writers now that I handheld and saved for a year plus. 2 of them.
It looks like we have a Padres fan in the chat section. Hello, welcome to the show. Thank you for supporting us and being here and earning us money. We appreciate you. Andres over on YouTube says, "We are not violent like Dodger fans." Wow. Never heard that one before.
Say that to my face. That's
East Coast fool. Nah, dude. We don't play that game. No one plays that game.
But again, it was fun. And moving on, last week, since we are doing the show still currently once a week, I think either we might do a second one finally this week. We'll see how the narrative goes and how the week goes. There's 2 off days this week, so it's kind of weird. But
the 60-game season, you have 2 off days in 1 week because the math adds up.
The Houstons are cheating their way onto Los Angeles this weekend too, so that gives us more reason. But
for a sweet 2-game season.
A recap of last week: the Dodgers lost their first series of the year, thanks to thanks to the bad bullpen.
Yeah, the bullpen's not bad itself in the grand scheme of things.
There's a few of them.
In the grand scheme of things, the bullpen's not that bad. Here's the thing. I don't know. I don't even know if you would call them shorthanded. I don't even know if you can call them that. But does it not
the 28-man roster? Does
it not seem to you like Dave Roberts is going to the usual suspects far more often than he would in any normal season? Obviously, Joe Kelly's out. Obviously, Pedro Baez is out. You don't want to lean on Dennis Santana of all guys. But, it seems like every series he's going to, Fergie and McGee and Floro and Trinan
and Trinan
and Floro
and not Floro, Ferg, and it just keeps.
He just keeps rotating those guys in and out, and at first it worked.
This is a thing, though. This is a thing, and there's a number of probably reasons, decent reasons. We'll get into those. At least I'll say they're decent reasons, but these are the habits that Dave Roberts gets into every season. He starts relying on those onesie, twosie guys. And then there's the, last season, let's be real, Joe Kelly should not have been on the active roster in the NLDS. He ended up costing the Dodgers that particular series with the Grand Slam, ultimately costing the Dodgers that series. It was lost earlier in that game because all the momentum was lost once Clayton Kershaw was left in to face batters he should not have faced. But anyway, Dave likes going to his guys. Last year was a lot of Baez. Baez is hurt this year. Now Dave, he was doing really well early on in the short season and balancing guys out, from Trinan to Brother Gatorade to McGee and not leaving him in there. Somehow Adam Kolarek is still doing well, even though he's facing a whole bunch of right-handed pitchers. Floro's been great, except for when other people are allowing his runs to come in. But again, Dave, and I feel like you would back me up on this, Dave gets into these habits by the end of the season where he's like, these are my guys and these are the only ones I'm going to trust. Screw you, everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I've seen it several times before in the past, and I'm always going to be a guy that defends Dave Roberts. Like, I'm never going to be different than that. I always feel like I'm always going to feel like he's a good manager for the Dodgers. He's done things that, I came from Don Mattingly. Like, it's not that hard to have a step up.
I came from Joe Torre and Grady Little.
My goodness. So
Jim Tracy. Davey Martinez.
So I understand the frustrations with him, and this is the first year where I've looked at it and been like, I understand why people are frustrated with Dave Roberts. This is my first year, and after everything, this is my first year. Started with the Rich Hill World Series game for me, but we won't talk about that. I think
got to bring up old things, man.
I think the biggest thing is that I've seen people like, if there was a way that he could not make bullpen decisions at all and still be the manager, that would be ideal. And honestly, I kind of agree with that. I kind of think it's accurate. Like, he is really bad at in-game bullpen management. Yeah. He's great at a bunch of other things, but he is really, really gone downhill with in-game bullpen management. I think he might be one of the worst in baseball in terms of managers with that. And that's unfortunate because, like you're saying, there's a lot of good arms in this bullpen, a lot of people he could go to, a lot of people he can lean on, a lot of hot hands he can ride. But I mean, he's going to these same dudes over and over again and like driving them into the ground. I don't feel like Blake Trinan's going to be in a good spot during the postseason. Like, I feel like that dude's going to be gassed out. And he does that thing too. The Dodgers tend to kind of do this where they sign a 1-year guy to a bullpen and just drive that dude. Drive him out. Yeah,
Trinan was doing well. And now all of a sudden, over his last 7 games, 5.4 ERA, 7 hits in his last 6 2/3 innings. He's probably getting run out there a little bit too much while maybe dealing with a little bit of placement issue there. His mechanics might be off or something like that. I personally feel that Alex Wood ruined everything since he came back. Everybody's just kind of felt worse.
Just the timing of it is just really bad.
Definitely the timing of it. Katie brings up a good point here. I want to get your opinion on this. Katie says, I feel for Dave because of the 3-batter rule. He's doing well with it, but he deserves some praise from her. Do you think that's maybe?
I would like to argue the reverse of that, actually. I think Tim Rogers, brought this up earlier in the year where he's like, I think actually the three-batter minimum helps Dave Roberts because it limits his decision making. It makes sure that he can't bring in guys in different spots. He's got to stick with that guy and ride him through. It almost does make it easier for him in a sense. Yeah, sure. I'm sure it's come back to bite him a few times. Yeah. I, in particular, do not like the way that he sets up Brusdar Graterol. I really think that he puts that guy into the worst situations. He puts him in bad spots as a rookie. Does not give him a chance to get out of it, has somebody give up his runs left on base. I think almost a vast majority of the runs that have been scored off of him,
especially of late,
have not been with him in the game itself. Like, especially he's left guys on first base that have come around to score on home runs and things like that. And that unfortunately adds into your stats for the season. But
and that kind of plays into my main point. It's not so much in my opinion, even though it is a good amount of the bullpen management and the usage, and maybe not calling on the right guys at the right time, or overusing people like McGee and especially Caleb Ferguson, who is off right now. He's given up I think he's given up a home run in each of his last 3 outings at least, or something like that. He's struggle busting it, but the fact that Dave's not really letting the starters get their way out of trouble in the 4th or 5th innings. It's really, I mean, it worked early on. Everybody was on that early workload. Everybody still had, a longer off season to have healed up and felt better. But now you're in the middle of a season, shorter season, but you're in the middle of a season. Things hurt more. I can tell you right now, things hurt more.
I hurt more. I haven't done anything.
You cracked your elbow earlier just existing. It was impressive. Not in a good way. But the fact that Dave won't let Julio try to pitch his way out of the 5th inning after he gave up 1 run, and it wasn't like bases loaded or anything like that. Let Julio try to figure that one out instead of going to, I don't know, somebody who could probably get you more than that 1 out or 2 out in that inning. I guess that's really my narrative there. Let him figure it out. Let Gonsolin figure it out. Let D-May try to figure it out a little bit more. Especially with this offense and how good they are late in the games.
Right.
You're burning out your middle relievers or late game relievers. I mean, Kenley's barely pitched. He's appeared in his last 7 games. He's only thrown 5 2/3 innings, so he's not really getting stretched out too much. But then how Dave operates. He's going to try to throw him for 4 or 5 outs in the postseason, and he's not going to be ready for that. So it's a weird situation.
You're going to get Kenley coming into the bottom of the 7th, and then Kershaw closing that game.
At least that was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Do you think maybe the starters should get a little bit more run?
Yeah, I mean, Chet had brought it up earlier on Facebook, but it's like you're getting these guys that are going, when you got Julio leaving the game during the 3rd or Tony leaving the game during the 3rd, I understand you get deep into pitch counts and things like that plays into it, but you don't have guys approaching 100 pitches. You have guys approaching 75, 80 pitches getting pulled out of games. Not giving them a chance to get through, not giving them a chance to go an extra inning, not giving them a chance to build off their last start and their last pitch count and things like that. And it made sense early when you're coming from summer camp, like, hey, we're going to build these guys up, maybe 2-3 starts, we'll be good. But now it's getting to a point where you're like, hey, we're winding down the season. We're not running up to the season. So at what point do you cut these guys loose? At what point do you say, all right, here's your runway, run with it? Because you're not building up guys for the postseason.
Yeah.
The goal in the postseason isn't to build up starters to go 7 innings during the postseason. More than likely, you go a lot shorter during postseason runs. You see starters go 4 or 5 innings max a lot of times because you get the bullpen in there, you mix up arms, you make the other managers make moves, you win ball games like that. This is the time to stretch out starting pitching, and it's not happening.
Yeah.
And so that's a little concerning because what are we at? Like,
there's 17 games left.
3 weeks left ish.
Yeah.
So give or
just
take.
over 3 weeks calendar wise.
Yeah, I mean we have 3 games this week or this 5-day week, whatever it's called. Work week. That's what you call them.
Week.
I've never worked before. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because you in another, you look at it again and you're like, there's 5 starters. Only 4 of them are going to pitch in the postseason. Then what? So now you have all these guys that are stretched out but not stretched out. It's really strange. I don't know what direction they're heading with it. I don't know what they're going to do with these relievers because a lot of them are going to be hurting. I feel kind of negative about it. And I don't usually feel very negative about this team.
You're
honestly.
learning.
I'm usually a homer.
You are a bit of a homer.
Yeah.
But you found your ways. You found your grooves into being negative, and we're proud of you for it. We'll get into that negative
about myself
in a little bit here. Digging into the comments a little bit here, we are honored, we are blessed. We have Jesus Christ on Facebook saying, let Charlie Steiner manage the bullpen. So here's my problem with the old Chuck Steiner. Old Chuck Steiner managing the bullpen. He's going to be calling all the wrong names. Wrong innings.
Perfect.
He's going to be trying to call the pitches. It's a fast 97 mile. There's a curveball. Swung on and missed, and it's gone. Because of he's a little.
Yeah, we love Charlie around here. He's a good dude.
He gets paid $800 a week to tell a cat and mouse what to do.
But Gail says tonight Walker Buehler's going 8 2/3.
Ooh.
Apparently getting pulled right before the game's over. Must be like a no-hitter situation where he gives up a hit in the last at-bat.
The bad thing
That's
is,
okay.
Even if he had gone like 8 innings and was at like 60 pitches, Dave would still pull him.
Yeah.
Because why not? We got to get our guys some work. They got Spores up right now, Friend of the show.
This is his third stint with the team, and he's only thrown 1 inning this year.
Hell
so,
yeah.
I mean, you got to really ride that dude. I got to imagine this series he pitches like every game. Like you got to just like wear that guy down a little bit or something.
That's going to be the plan when Joe Kelly comes back, by the way. Kelly threw at USC to hitters yesterday. His lovely wife recorded him on a roof at USC with the family. First time his new kids, his twins, were able to see him throw live. I'm pretty sure they were enthralled. But he struck out like 4 or something like that. So
he did well. Apparently.
He did more Weller. Baez,
more Goodley.
Baez threw today as well, or yesterday, so he's getting closer.
He's
going to
throw one more time, and then he should be activated this week if it all goes well. And then Kelly should also potentially be activated later this week, and will have to serve his 5-game suspension. So I think Dave said, as long as we can get him 4 to 5 appearances, he'll be good for playoffs. Which means he's going to make 8 or 9 appearances.
I don't have a problem with him missing that first round, because that first round is going to be that stupid 3-game thing, right? So if he hasn't thrown enough, don't force him onto the roster. There's more. He made all that money on that World Series against us. There's no reason to force him on the roster if he's not ready.
No,
for that 3-game series, because that is a different animal. That stupid little 3-game series. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that, and there's a couple of different rotations in baseball where you're like, in a 3-game series, you're dangerous. In a 7-game series, you're trash. There's a couple different ones like that. Padres, low-key, kind of one of those teams. Across a 7-game series, Padres don't stand a chance against anybody. Across a 3-game series, Padres might sweep your ass. I don't know.
Well, it depends on whether or not the Padres are trying to still think that Paddock is their ace.
Yeah, I don't know. He's like a number 4 guy on your team. On your team. I'm not saying a bad team. I said on your team, he's probably a number 4 guy right now. And this is just statistical analysis, guys. Please don't murder me or come into my DMs and tell me I'm fat or whatever you said last time.
Nose.
Yeah. I have a fat nose and I'm fat. And it was really hurtful, guys. I had to go home and hug my dog.
He brought his dog to work out of fear.
I did. He was really cute. He sat right here.
And now he left his toy, and the dog is muy angry.
Yeah, I got it. Don't worry. We're good.
To bounce around on the comments here and a little bit of how we sort of planned on talking about this show, Juiced Lee, our friend here, wants to get our thoughts on Julio Urias, and I think that's a good jumping off point to talk about how the playoff rotation is basically in focus now, in my opinion, and Julio's not in it. Julio lost it. He lost that rotation spot.
So your rotation is the current rotation just without Julio.
Yes.
Is it in the same order?
Yeah, it's going to be.
You're going to go Kershaw, Buehler,
deserves that game
May,
1, and
Goslin?
it's not out of what he's done for us in the past. No, Kershaw's effing good this year.
See, May's my game 4 starter. Tony's my game 3 starter.
We're high on Tony, friend of the show.
We love Tony.
3-timer? 2-timer? I don't know. Friend of the show.
We played a game with him one time, so
check it out. YouTube.com/the internet. Oh, that's got to be a URL.
You can subscribe.
What about is Urias in your? So Urias is not in your rotation.
No, I mean I've said it for a while. I think he plays up out of the bullpen. I think his stuff plays up out of the bullpen. I think he's really got to work on attacking the zone. Every single time he pitches, Dave Roberts says that. Like every post-game press conference he's got to attack the zone. He's got to live in the zone. He's got stuff to work against. But
how is he going to do that if he's not allowed to attack the zone, get out of it, figure it out?
Yeah, that's another problem too. I think he just plays up as a reliever. Like I've always liked him. His numbers even say he should be a reliever.
He was lights out.
He was so good as a reliever. I don't know what, I understand in one sense you're like, David Price isn't going to be here. Let's have Julio be our guy. Let's cut the reins loose on him or whatever it is. Then you get rid of Ross, and then you want Tony back in. And the expectation honestly wasn't that Dustin May was going to be in the rotation at this point in the year or early or to start the year.
Yeah.
But He has been, and he's remained there, and I think he's going to stay there. I don't see any reason why not at this point. You got a guy that throws 100 miles an hour as a starting pitcher. He's probably going to be in the playoffs starting rotation at some point.
Yeah.
I like Tony third. I like Dustin May fourth. I think Julio's got to come out of the bullpen.
I
think it helps.
Because the good thing about Julio is now that he's going to be built up, so he can kind of play that piggyback guy. He could be,
the long innings guy,
the long inning guy that might mix in after, to kind of throw him. Not the same way Counsell did in the 18 NLCS where they threw out Woodruff for one pitch
like Wade
or something.
Miley or something first.
Yeah, that stupid thing just to throw off the left right because only the Dodgers platoon in that fashion, especially that season. It's not going to be something dumb like that, but still being able to be like, you know what, we want to get Tony through the lineup one and a half times, and then let Julio take the reins for those 3 innings. And I don't have a problem with that. It's almost like a borderline opener, but who cares about, Gonsolin trying to get a win in the postseason? We want wins. We need that. We need now, 13 wins to win a World Series, apparently?
Many, because everything's all messed up.
Hashtag math. Johnny Rios has a fantastic question here. We're going to get to that in a second. I love that. Francisco on YouTube is going a little throwback here, saying Maeda and Ryu would be looking real nice about now. Why you gotta do that to us, man? No, we're sad.
Ryu gave up a couple back-to-back jacks today.
Ha! He sucks.
Not that sad.
DFA.
And Kenta hasn't been nearly as good since he almost no-hit the whoever's.
Yeah, that kind of, I think that broke him.
Yeah, you can't let the man go that many pitches, man. That's why Dave Roberts knows him. Mm-hmm. Andres, who I think is the Padres fan, says Paddock was never an ace, but it was recently discovered that he was tipping his pitches. That's our celebration gong. Also, check out Garrett Richards' last 2 starts. He might be the best pitcher on the team. And that's where I'm going to stop you there. Because Padres fans...
Let him be a homer. No, let him be a homer.
Padres fans are now going to tear you apart for not knowing anything. Garrett Richards, the best pitcher on the team? I mean, Lamet alone...
Yeah, Lamet just threw 7 2/3. He pitched into the 8th inning, gave up only 6 hits, struck out 11.
I mean, look, I didn't give him a credit when I trash talked him, and that was on purpose. There's a reason why I didn't do that because we were trash talking the Padres, and he's good. I'll say it. I mean, he's the real deal. He's a good pitcher. You have Davies, who, by some miracle, has become an effective pitcher, and he legitimately is the 2nd best pitcher on your team. Garrett Richards is not even the 5th best pitcher on your team. I'll tell you that right now.
So does that mean they're even better?
We should become a Padres podcast. This is stupid.
Gas lamping at you live? That's a thing, right?
Gas. What's that district called?
Gas lamp, right?
Yeah.
See, I'm hip. I'm with it.
Yeah, there's a hotel over there that you can drink at.
There's a spot that serves eggs. I went there once.
Oh.
Good time.
Really?
Anyway, a little break. Conversation piece here. Like I alluded to earlier, Johnny Rios over here on Facebook says these umpires are terrible. And my God, did you see this Joe West thing?
Oh, yeah, when he threw out
Joe West throws out the Nationals general manager who's up in the nosebleeds. and initially it was that people thought it was because he wasn't wearing a mask. Like John Boy went off on it or whatever. But if we're being real, it's Joe West wanting to ump show. Because that's what he does.
He's really good at it.
He's fantastic at it, that pile of dog crap. And without fans in the stands, he's not able to put on as big of a show. But if it was about him throwing out not wearing a mask, Joe West was not wearing a mask at the time. So that's bad. That's a bad look. But Mike Rizzo, Nats GM, was apparently chirping and saying bad calls, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And got kicked out for it. How bad is that? And then at the end of it, and we're not going to take any sides because apparently it leads to bad reviews, but at the end of it, Joe West opted to mix in the fact that he would have thrown out even President Trump, who, by the way, I'm voting for. His quote. Joe West, we don't need to know your opinion on the upcoming election. Just call astute balls and strikes and do your goddamn job, dude. We don't need your opinion on anything. You don't need to be throwing out dudes up in the nosebleeds. Pay attention to what's in front of you.
I knew this season was going to be unlike any other. I knew that already. We saw it coming. But in this year, we have seen Joe West get hit in the head by a bat, and throw out an executive from a baseball game. This is the most wild thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. I've never seen anything like that. When I first saw it, I thought it was an Onion article, and I was like, yeah, Joe West. Yeah, that's funny.
It does read like
reads
an
like
Onion.
an Onion article. It's like, Joe West, he's a bad umpire, and he throws people out all the time. It's pretty funny. He throws out executive from Top Deck or whatever it is, and you're like, oh, that's hilarious. And then you click on it, you're like, holy crap, that happened. Oh, my God. So it was a nice way to break up the monotony. It was really good. Now Padres fan wants to talk about how Cronenworth is better than Lux.
I don't know how that dude is doing as good as he is, man, but
right now he is better than Lux. Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything, but mad props to Cronenworth.
Also, thank you for still watching the show, by the way. I'm amazed that you made it this far when you're not a Dodger fan.
We're proud of you, Andres. You're a good man. We love
and
you
didn't call me fat. I really appreciate that about you.
Damn porker. Speaking of Lux, you we don't need to get into specifics, but last week you called out Lux.
I did.
On this program.
I did.
You said he looked scared. So what did he do?
That was 2 weeks ago.
No, it was last Monday. Yeah.
Oh my God, time is a son of a bitch.
It both goes too quick and too slow, apparently.
Yeah.
You called him out, said he looked scared at the plate, and what did he do? He took that to heart, and it inspired him, and he has since gone 2 for 16.
I would just like to say, you're welcome. I don't really know what else to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought I would do a lot better from him.
So importantly, Brooke did not fix Gavin Lux yet. But we're doing this weird thing right now where there's sort of position battles happening here in September, even though things were going okay.
Right.
Like I said it last week, everybody knows I'm a huge, whatever the complete opposite of a Kike Hernandez stan is, I am that. But I'm not upset if Kike is starting at second for, September and the postseason. He's going to run into one or two.
Right.
He's going to give you plus defense.
Right.
Anywhere he plays. And with Barnes hitting whenever he's in the lineup, it's like, it's not hell. Go play Barnes at second base right now. I never thought I'd try to get his bat in the lineup, but damn, this might be the best option over there, dude.
Really backwards ass year. I can't hang with
2020 back at it, fam squad. Mash that heart button.
I don't like it. I don't like the fact that things are so backwards anymore.
But I'm honestly not a fan of Lux. Being forced into the lineup this way. I mean, I get it. He does, in 2 ways. For development, I like it. He needs to learn. It gives him his opportunity. We're looking more at 2021. That's fine. We have a lead. We don't got to worry about it. We don't need to be, we are the best team in baseball. But we don't need to be the best team in baseball. Ideally, you want to be the best team in the National League. That's fine. That's all ho-hum. If you're getting Luxy some opportunities and other people are hitting, I don't want Lux and Joc batting back to back in the lineup. Definitely right now.
No. I mean, you're also looking at the potential ceilings of whoever you want to throw into the mix for second base. I like the at-bats that CT is putting up. I really do. I also like the fact that you can mix CT into the outfield, though, and make sure that Joc isn't getting nearly as at-bats as he is. Mm-hmm. So that's good. But, when you're thinking of playoffs, Dave Roberts, in his mind, hasn't made up, whether he says it or not, that Gavin Lux is going to be the guy come playoff time. He's already made that up in his mind, and the only thing that's going to change that is a really bad September. He's having a really bad September. He's having a really bad first, technically, month of the season for him because he hasn't been up. He's been sitting at the USC campus hitting off of
JoJo Gray.
Whoever, JoJo Gray and
pitching machines,
Bobby Miller, who I don't know, children over there. So you got to
small, tiny babies.
You have to consider the fact that for him, it is still very early in the season, and he does have a very high ceiling. We know what Gavin Lux can do. We know what he's capable of. We know that he can be a very, very good second baseman. We know that he was a favorite for Rookie of the Year award, and that might have played into it a little bit. I mean, you come in and you get an immediate demotion and no signs of a call-up, and people are asking where you're at, and you never get the call-up, and then suddenly you get the call-up and you can't perform. That's tough. That's a tough situation to fall into, and a lot of pressure on him. So I hope he can find it, because if he finds his swing, my God, what a lineup. What a lineup.
Yeah, this lineup is the fact that they're as good as they are, and that's been mostly with bad Pederson, and I guess really it's a resurgent Pollock and a I guess you can say a resurgent Barnes that have balanced out the bad of Pederson and the bad of everything that's really gone at second base. But you kind of look at second base right now as your defensive first position, and if Lux hasn't figured it out by October, throw Kiki. Just let it all let Jesus Christ in the comments sort it out.
It's got it handled.
Outfield in you manage, and then you tell me whether or not or how Dave will handle it.
Okay.
Pollock over his last 15 games is hitting near 300, 7 extra base hits, 6 ribs. Pederson over his last 15, 231, 6 extra base hits, 5 ribs. They both have about the same slug, both have about the same on base. Do we continue the platoon? And I guess it's not so much of a platoon because there is a DH, but do you do that, or do you try to find a way to maybe mix in more Mad Baby or Eddie Rios?
I just really don't like the at-bats that Joc is putting up. First of all, his at-bats. Let's just talk about the quality of his at-bats right now. He looks really bad. He's gone down on 3 pitches far too many times. You really just don't. Of all the things that you want to do in baseball, going down swinging on 3 pitches is really something that you don't want to do, because you know that there's going to be a waste pitch in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And that means you're just really having ineffective at-bats. Number 2, there is a lack of hustle that I'm still seeing. I mean, Joc Pederson is alive and well. That's for sure. And that can come from a couple different things. I think the main source of that is probably just straight frustration.
Yeah.
Just being upset with the way things are going for him. He's not swinging the bat well. It happens.
I had somebody ask me on Twitter about whether or not it's in his head that, the Dodgers don't want him. They traded him. Just it got sent back.
I mean, it could be. It really could be. It really could be in his head. I don't think that he's going to hold on to it like that. I would like to think that he's more professional than that. I would like to think all these guys are, but also on a human level, I know I personally would kind of have that in the back of my mind, and that would never be able to leave me. I think more importantly than that, I think it's bigger than it. I think it is hey, I'm in my contract here, and
it just all the pressure
in a year of uncertainty, in a year of I have a very short period of time to perform and prove myself, and in a year of I am also a platoon player. It's a lot to put on you and be like, hey, there's 60 games, maybe I play in 40 of those. Like, I really have a very small window to make it true that I'm a good player that deserves a good contract,
even with the DH. And I will point out that we would love for Joc to be doing well. We want him to be doing well, but he's not, and that's a simple case of the matter here. It's a simple point, simple fact. So we get to talk crap about him a little bit, but congrats to Mr. Joc Pederson, him and Mrs. Joc Pederson. Kelsey, they had a kid today. We're going to find out more about the health and well-being of their child. We hope everything is well. There's a chance that, the poor baby may have come a little early. We don't know the timeline of it. We're not going to speculate over, but we wish happy baby, happy Kelsey and Joc, and we hope everything comes out nice and great. And Joc is going to be back on Sunday, so he's got an extended paternity leave. So that means more ice cream.
That's good for him. He's going to have 2 kids now, which is that's always good. I've heard.
Sidebar, I'm behind in the comments here, and Zed said that Joe West actually ejected me from the podcast, so my bad, I'm out.
And he would also like you to know that he does not like you.
Sweet.
So,
love that.
Joe West has got to throw in his comments on everything else along with his decision-making skills.
Let's catch up on some of these comments here.
Megan makes a good point. Megan says, I still want Joc in October. He's special in October. Joctober's a real thing. I mean, he turns into another animal. He really turns it on. So
meow.
That's a separate thing to think about. I would be okay with him not hitting the entire season as long as he hit the playoffs, and that's fine with that.
Kevin says let Joc pitch.
Yes.
Go ahead.
First base and pitching. On YouTube, Bruce says, yo, Dodgers Nation from Portland, Oregon. Shout to you guys. Yo, Bruce, Portland. What is good? JT says Joc comes back with dad strength. Well, he was already a dad, so double dad strength.
Double dad.
Whoa.
Now, is that like 2 positives? And I don't remember.
2 rights make a left.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's a thing. Just leave the dead air just for you.
Just let it float for a little bit.
And I want to give some love here to Francisco pointing out that Darvish is actually pitching good. Is on his way to potentially a Cy Young with 1 or 2 more great starts.
You know what?
Dudes look nasty. Cubs are a little scary.
I'm happy for him.
They have no bullpen, but
No. They all died with Brandon Morrow.
yeah.
I am really happy. I am really happy for you, Darvish. Though, like the dude really, really got piled on by Dodgers fans after the World Series, and he did not deserve it at all. Obviously, looking back on it now, you can be like, "Oh yeah, that really sucks because he got cheated, and that sucks." But when he went to the Cubs, he had some. He had a rough time.
Yeah.
He had a rough couple of years with the Cubs, but he seems to have found it, and he's showing everybody that he's a pretty good pitcher. And when he was with the Rangers, you guys, I mean, if you guys can think back that far, I know most people don't remember anything like me. He was really good with the Rangers, like enough to the point where when we traded for him, he was the best pitcher that was available at the time. People want to argue that Justin Verlander was that guy. Justin Verlander was not the best pitcher that was available at that time. He just happened to cheat with the Houston Astros, and now he's good.
Yeah, JV had the sticky. You know, he had the sticky on the ball, as where Darvish had stats and throwing pitches, more curves and all that kind of stuff, because we know Yasmini Passball loved calling them curveballs. But as we're talking Cubs, we're talking a lot of Padres today. Playoff primer. So there's about 17 games left. Let's say there's more than 15 games left. That's what I'm going to go with. That gives the podcast more longevity, fam.
Allegedly.
Who might we be playing at the moment in that last spot? Is the Rockies and the Marlins. They're right there in those last couple of spots. What kind of world are we in?
I hate 2020 so much.
Wait, do the Marlins have a better record than the Yankees right now? Because the Yankees, dude, hey, you guys remember the Yankees were good? Now they're 21-20. Shout out.
There's no punchline. That's it.
Shout out New York Yankees.
I mean, Miami's 18-18, so they're right on top of them.
And they missed most of the start of their season. So right there on the bubble, the Brewers, the Mets, and the Cincinnatis. So you got Reds, you got Mets, you got Brewers. They're not that far off. Interesting bunch to play a 3-game set with. Cincy is obviously probably the most scary of all of them just because of their starting rotation.
Oof.
They have Sonny Gray, who's for the greater part, I haven't looked at his most recent stats, but I know for the greater part early in the season he was lights out. Bauer's been really good.
You know what's really great is you're a really good team when every single day on talk radio and MLB.com and MLB Network and all those things, the only conversation being had is what teams could potentially beat the Dodgers in the first round. Like, it's not like how good is this team? How good is this team? It's like, hey, who can beat the Dodgers in the first round? Like, that's all anybody wants to know is like, who can put up the most damage against the Dodgers in the first round? That's how good your team is. Yeah. Do you understand, you as a fan, you watching this? Yes, you, me, you, talking to you.
Where's that Padres guy?
Your team, not you. Your team is that good where people need to talk about who can beat them in the first round. And that's all they have to talk about. And, somebody just called the NL like wide open. Some major reporter, and I forget who it was.
Wasn't it Heyman?
Might have been Heyman.
If it's a really bad take, it's probably
John Heyman.
Yeah,
that sounds right. But basically, it's like the NL's wide open, and everyone was like,
"Yeah,
what? Pardon? NL's wide open? What are you talking about?"
If they're talking about like the third spot behind the Dodgers and the Padres, then yeah, sure,
wide open,
wide open for that third seed.
That makes sense. If that's what you're saying, it's indeed wide open. But I mean, obviously we're coming off as a series loss, so it's hard to feel good about anything. But with that being said, the Dodgers are still a really good baseball team, and I just don't see any way that they can get beat except in that first round, honestly. That's the only thing that scares me. Yeah, the first round is where we would lose.
If the Mets can, or sorry, if the Reds can find their way to come back and get that last spot over. Right now it's the Rockies, I think. That's probably the biggest challenge. They do have a very old and trying to cling on to dear life Joey Votto, but Nick Castellanos is good. Eddie Suarez, I think it's his name, or Eugenio Suarez had a fantastic year last year. He's putting it together right now. They got some bats. They still have Iglesias as their closer. The Reds are really good, can be a really, really good team if we're just talking about that first round. Otherwise, I'm definitely not scared of the Marlins, but with their senior veteran, what's his name, Miguel Rojas. That doesn't quite instill fear into me. But yeah, that Gray, Castillo, Bauer, DeSclafani, like they have arms over there at the Reds that can do some things. The Mets only have DeGrom. Now all of a sudden, like one of their primo relievers is in the rotation with one of my fan favorites, that one guy I say the Dodgers should trade for every year.
Right.
Forget his name.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. The guy.
But yeah.
Chase Utley.
Respect.
In your face, sucker!
And it was a cleat. It was a cleat in your face. You got spiked right now. But I don't know. Who do you want, honestly, out of those 5?
I just think it's really funny that the Marlins are still a potential candidate to play the Dodgers in the first round. That's
Cincy is
I can't
funny,
really
man.
hang. I think Cincy is honestly the team that I would least like to face in the first round. Like if you were giving me an option to face anybody, I would really not want to face Cincy in the first round. And I know that sounds strange, but if you I don't know who watches Reds games. I don't think people in Ohio watch Reds games, but they're a scary bunch of dudes that can put together a pretty good string of at bats and a pretty good string of pitchers at any given time. So, the Marlins are. I don't know what the Marlins are doing. I don't even know who's on the Marlins roster right now. I don't think they know who's on the Marlins roster right now.
Yeah, they have that one dude, Sixto. He's like killing it.
Sixto?
Isn't he? He's like one of them 100-mile-per-hour arms.
He's one of those guys that's like a top prospect in baseball type of dude. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't hate playing the Giants or the Rockies. I would hate playing the Giants because the Dodgers tend to do very poorly against the Giants.
Yes.
Just for why not? They tend to do very poorly against the Giants when the Giants are very poor. That's the timing of things. Don't mind playing the Rockies.
Tim says Norman Avocado just hit a 3-run shot off of Clevenger. And I don't know if that was intentional or autocorrect, but I love that we know who it is.
Oh yeah,
Norman Avocado.
The kids called him Norman Avocado. I don't know the joke or why, but that's his name now.
So you're saying that hashtag Hollywood Lifestyle loves him. Anthony Rendon, noted hater of avocado.
He hates Los
and
Angeles.
And he loves
and
beef
avocado.
fajitas. Not carne asada, but beef fajitas.
He likes going to Chili's more than California Tacos Truck. That's it.
Los Californias, shout out. We're looking for a taco sponsor.
You can be it.
So
you can park outside our studio.
So as of right now, the Marlins are that 8th seed. And I think their ace is Urena still. Is it Jose Urena?
Sure.
I think.
Yeah, sure. I don't watch Padres or Marlins games. It's really hard to keep track of the league when your team's not playing the league, Yeah, that's why it's a weird season for me. I don't know what's happening on the East Coast.
Where's our boy Prez 1619? He's a noted Padres
noted
guy,
Marlins man.
Marlins man. Oh yeah, that's right. They picked up Starling Marte. Got Corey Dickerson. Interesting. They got Jazz Chisholm. Yeah.
Yep.
I guess we should learn more about the Marlins so we can trash them. So that's a good thing.
That's not fair.
That's a good thing, like we did with the Padres, especially this guy.
Hello.
If you know enough about the team, you know the right things to talk crap about to piss off the fan base. It's great. It's delicious. It's something I highly recommend.
It's not that hard
for every boy or girl. DeGrom, Porcello, Seth Lugo. That's the guy I was thinking about. Michael Wacha. There's your Mets. I'm not scared of any of them.
Remember when Michael Wacha was the guy that was going to win 6 Cy Young Awards?
Bring him on.
I remember that.
Another thing that got closer today, that playoff bubble, which I think we talked crap about last week or 2 weeks ago. Old Kenny Rosenthal went on the Fox to say that really none of the stats or none of the facts of it have changed. But it's still really stupid.
It's getting closer to happening.
The American League would play in Southern California. 2 of the 3 stadiums would be used between Anaheim and Dodgers and Petco.
So that means they're going to use Dodger Stadium and Petco.
I don't know. I mean, isn't that a great FU to the Dodgers, though, to take away the All-Star game and not even let their site be for playoffs?
So here's my understanding of it.
I want that
you move the NL to the AL because they're playing in unfamiliar stadiums, kind of. I mean, the Dodgers and people in the West have obviously played in the AL stadiums at some point. There's a little less familiarity, so it kind of evens out a little bit in terms of leveling the playing field on both sides. I think that's my understanding of it, and that's why I think that they'll choose both NL stadiums rather than mixing an AL stadium into there. Doesn't really seem fair if you're the A's are making the playoffs. The A's play at Angel Stadium a bunch. That's more of their home field than it is the Dodgers home field.
Plus, I mean, Angel Stadium, to be real, it's ugly. It's a really ugly spot.
It's an ugly stadium.
Bless
you know what's really great though? You can see that Coors Light billboard out by the pond. They don't call it the pond anymore. What's it called? Honda Center. It's way better when it was the pond.
Give you guys my business card for Honda.
Yeah,
it's been a while. JT Swifty, Swifty over here says Kemp singled off of Clevenger too. That was your guy's Lord and Savior, Padres Twitter. Where you at? Francisco was going to point it out, but Francisco notes that the Marlins have our boy Jimmy Garcia, the human home run machine, Jimmy. So that works.
So he will pitch 3 shutout innings.
To wrap up the bubble, World Series will be played at the Lowe's in Texas.
The Lowe's.
Yeah, because it's like a warehouse.
In the shed section.
The new ballpark of the what are they called? Rangers,
yeah.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Tough Shed.
There you go. Leslie says now we're gonna have Angels fan mad at us. Angels fans, I don't think they're on the internet.
What are they gonna do? Throw money at me? Get it?
Yeah.
Orange County.
Yeah, I was there yesterday. Money. Don't recommend it.
Would not recommend Orange County to anybody on earth.
Do not.
I think the only good thing about Orange County is Disneyland. I don't know.
Yeah. There's people there. You know how I feel about that.
Knott's Berry Farm. Yeah. That's all I got for you guys today.
Well, this will be the wrap of the podcast side, where we're going to hang out with you guys on the live video side here for the last couple of seconds. So let's look at this. Look at this game tonight. Let's look at this lineup. We got Buehler on the bump. Is this kind of like a prove it game for Walker? I mean, obviously he's not going anywhere. He's going to be that number 2 either way. But is this like that big get over the hump, make sure Dave doesn't take me out in the 5th or 6th inning?
So I think they're going to be really careful with his blister still. So I don't hate that. Honestly, I really don't hate that, because it's for him to go down with a blister injury now would be really, really poor timing. Really poor timing. So I get that. But he is coming off of, I would say, 2 very good starts. Very good starts.
Yeah.
I mean, he obviously only went 5 innings against the Diamondbacks in his last start. But I mean, in that start, he only gave up 2 hits. He struck out 6. He walked 1 guy. And in the start before that, didn't walk anybody and struck out 11 against the Rockies. That being said, I think he does need to have a good start here. I think if he can go 5 and not give up any runs, or give up 1 run, whatever it might be, that would be a really good start for him. And I would actually appreciate that. And I would like that. I don't like the way it lines up. I really hate when it lines up to where you play the same team in back-to-back starts, which is the case for him and Kershaw specifically.
Yeah.
And I really don't like that, because in my mind, that falls more as an advantage as a hitter more than it does as a pitcher, because you just saw this guy last week. You know how he throws. You know how he works the zone. I don't like that. I don't think it works out well a lot of times for those guys, but we'll see. I think the Diamondbacks lineup is a good one for Buehler to dominate.
Yeah, no doubt there. Big Steve calling the shots, says Belly going deep tonight. I'll take it.
He had a bad weekend. He had a bad weekend. Yeah, he went over this weekend. Cody,
yeah.
He did go over this weekend.
Yeah, coming back from his little sit, we'll call it. How do I get to this thing? I want to read this because I want to see more of the lineup here. But Mookie back in the lineup. That's big. Charles agrees with me. We got our boy Hamill agreeing with me that big start for Walker. One of the things I liked in the lineup, it's a right-handed pitcher, but Dave finally swapped it up and put, I don't know if it's a splits thing, if the numbers worked better, where Pollock hit well against Luke Weaver in the past, probably. I mean, I think everybody has hit well against Luke Weaver this year, 7.5 ERA. But Pollock hit in 3rd. Muncy dropped back to that 5 spot. I like it.
You like Muncy in the 5 spot?
I do like Muncy in the 5 spot because I like Pollock in 3rd, which is something I never thought I'd say.
It's a weird year again. I'll tell you again. This is a weird year.
Taylor.
I keep forgetting how bad we need JT in the lineup. Like, just how much of a lightning rod that guy is in a lineup. And even if he's not producing, he just is a lightning rod. For
and the length that gives the lineup too is
for sure
pretty ridiculous. I mean, Rios hasn't hit since he's come off the injured list.
Toe injury,
exploding toe / hamstring problem there. So you'd love to see him doing things. He's still playing adequate defense at 3rd base.
I'll take it.
Taylor playing a lot of outfield right now. You wonder what that's going to spell for him in the postseason, if that's going to make a difference. Or, I mean, that dude can play well anywhere. But Francisco says Pollock, surprise comeback player of the year. I think that's possible.
Pollock?
Could be.
Yeah, I mean, could be. He spent enough time on the injured list to kind of get people talking about that, I guess. I guess that's one way to look. I feel like you have to spend time on an injured list in order to win comeback player of the year. That's just like part of it now. It's not even like you had a really bad year.
Yes.
But he did. He did not have a great year.
Kevin says Bellinger needs Wonder Bat. Wonder Bat.
He needs something.
Shout out to our Simpsons fans. in the crowd here. Getting back to what will be in the podcast. One last note. Kevin's here, so I got to bring back one last note for him. If anybody hasn't been on the internet, Vin Scully's on the internet now, and it's great. It's also kind of borderline sad, but it's great. You love Vinny. For a second there, it seemed like he was going to start previewing each series or each game. I was like, Vin, don't do that to yourself.
Right.
Plus, it doesn't seem very Vin to want to like step on Joe and Oral's toes. But Vin is on the internet. He's the Vin Scully because somebody else has stolen Vin Scully on Twitter and Instagram. But check it out; it's a good follow. Follows us, so we got his blessing. Best friend of the show, Vin Scully. That's all I got.
So
I guess
we're like in charge or something now.
No, Charles is in charge
Dang it.
of our days and our lives. Anyway, there's baseball about to happen. There's basketball really happening, I think, already. So we want to get out of here. We're going to do that. Bye. Find us on the internet. Until next time, we are DodgersNation.com. That is an internet website. Subscribe to Blue Heaven. We are on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Player FM, everywhere. Pandora, anywhere a podcast is available for free. You can find us there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Why not? YouTube.com/DodgersNationTV. It will cure whatever is wrong with you. Probably not, though.
Keep taking your medication because, laughter's not the best medicine, I've heard. Guys, I'm at BrookMe3. This guy over here is at RealFRG. We are both on Twitter and Instagram. We are both bad at posting on there. We are at Dodger Nation on Twitter, at Officials Dodger Nation on Instagram. We are not bad at posting there because that is our jobs and we are very good at it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for listening every single week. We want to thank the one Padres fan who stuck around. Goodbye.
Throwback.